Hey everyone, it's me, Wendy. Today's video is going to show you how to make your own teddy coat or faux fur jacket. Really depends on what fur you choose. Teddy coats, it seems they tend to be a bit shorter haired, more Sherpa-like, and then faux fur is just like whatever craziness your fabric store has. In the one I made, I definitely feel like a life-size fluff ball, so I'm gonna call that a success. I will be back at the end of the video to show you how it looks, give you some details on some items that I used. I have a discount code for some very sewing friendly items, so don't forget to subscribe, wait till the end, and thank you to everyone who subscribed and got us past 600,000. Okay, I'll see you later. The easiest way to make a jacket that fits you well and also has a liner, has a guaranteed built-in warmth, is to go thrift a little jacket or find a jacket that you don't need anymore. I found this black wool number and it fit me okay at the sleeves. There's a couple of buttons. It's good to turn it to the side too and take a look at how it fits front to back, whether you like the way it all drapes. This in fur just takes a little imagination to picture it in its fuzziest, puffiest form, and it was missing pockets, so I kind of made a mental note on whether or not I was going to include pockets. So there we go, let's get started. I almost liked the jacket enough to be sad that I was going to be changing it, but after seeing how much the wool picked up the fur, it's time to go. Most jackets have a few key pieces that we're going to be cutting out of the faux fur. There's these two front pieces that are symmetrical to one another, two sleeves that are symmetrical to one another, and then on the back, one full back piece that should be symmetrical to itself. On the inside opening of the jacket, I also cut these two pieces that match the width of the extra wool that's on the inside of the black jacket. All these pieces together will give us a complete shell that covers up the existing jacket and turns the existing jacket into a liner. I do have a separate video on how to lay down a piece of clothing, but essentially I just placed my wool jacket on the back of the faux fur, drew all the way around with a marker, leaving 1 to 1.5 centimeters all the way around. That gives us a little seam allowance so that when it's all sewn up, it should fit around this existing jacket like a glove. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're going to deal with faux fur, try to have a vacuum on hand. The shedding is crazy. First up, taking the big back piece, we're going to be connecting it right sides together along the shoulders with the two front pieces. So I'm smoothing all the little faux fur out of the way, clipping it along the top, and then we're going to sew 2 straight lines. Next up is the sleeves. On the inside, I marked an F for front and a B for back. And it's because the curve of the sleeve is not always the same front to back. It's important to follow that when you're tracing the original jacket, and then stick to that as you pin it to your new shell. I started from the 2 corners and put down pins periodically all the way along the curve. With a straight stitch, this sews the entire sleeve to the shoulder of your jacket. Now with the sleeves attached, we can go ahead and pin it right sides together just at the armpit. We're going to be sewing this with a straight stitch along the armpit to the end of the sleeve, and then also the armpit to the bottom of the jacket. The next step is kind of optional, but too many times I have regretted not including pockets. So we're going to do pockets. I cut these 2 squares out of the faux fur and I'm going to flip them over so you can see the dimensions. They are 16 centimeters by 16 centimeters. Out of some lining, I also cut 16 by 16 squares, and we're going to sew the lining to the faux fur right sides together almost all the way around so that we can flip it inside out and finish it off. With the gap that we left here, we are flipping it inside out, and this just makes it so that now on the front side, we can attach it as the pocket, and on the inside, it can feel all nice with the lining. After it's flipped, you will have to take a needle and thread to sew shut the opening. I do this by grabbing a little bit of the lining, then grabbing a little bit of the faux fur and going back and forth. This is actually pretty beginner friendly because faux fur is very good at hiding all sorts of stitches, so don't panic too much if you don't have this perfectly, but just make sure it's all sealed. I attached the pockets to the jacket with safety pins just so I could get a feel for it and make sure I was happy with the location. Now if we sew it with the opening facing up, you can put items into the pocket from above, but I'm gonna sew it with the opening facing the side so that it's easy for my hands to go inside. While you're sewing, keep the safety pins in because it's going to help to make sure your location is locked in. And the tricky part about sewing on these pockets is that you want to make sure the faux fur underneath on the jacket is nice nice and smooth. And then on the pocket, you kind of want to use your fingers and nails to part the hairs a little as you sew. If you're doing your best to part the hairs as you sew, once you're done, all the hairs will smooth down and completely cover the stitch. You won't even see it there. Here's how the pocket looked with the opening on the side so that my hands can go in and out easily. We're going to bring over those two collar pieces, line them up right sides together to the front opening, and sew them down with a straight stitch. Voila! Now we can flip this inside out, and that's going to help it tuck away to the inside of the jacket. This gives us the complete shell that we're going to attach to the wool coat, and in the front the wool coat is going to tuck inside of this little collar piece. This will be your last chance with the wool coat to easily remove the shoulder pads, so go ahead and do that if you want a little less shoulder drama. Here is the faux fur jacket with the wool coat completely slid inside. Once I had it inside, I went all the way around with these clips to tuck in the additional fabric so that it completely wraps the black coat. All along the entire inside, I'm going to do a zigzag stitch on the raw edge of the faux fur to prevent it from shedding like crazy, and then using a needle and thread to sew it to the jacket all the way around. It's a little bit tedious, but because I really only wanted to attach it to the inside layer of the wool coat, it's something that's practically impossible to do on a sewing machine. I did this to the collar, the two sleeve holes, the entire bottom and front opening, and after that, you're done your very own teddy coat.
Yeah, give it one time, one time. Was I tempted to obey the trigger force inside my brain? It told me, I know what you're thinking of when you see her moving just like that. This feeling that I try to keep, but something holds me back into another dark space, and I wish just once.
Thank you for staying until the end. There will be more photos on my Instagram. It is at Withwendy. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe. In this video, I used a sketchbook to show the breakdown of the pieces that you need. Let me know if that was a helpful visual. The sketchbook I was using is this from Fashionary. It's an A4 size. And the reason it's so easy is because I don't know if you can see as clearly, very faint markings of people. And you can just use those to trace out the design so you worry less about getting the shape right and more just like slap the clothes on. I have a bunch of items from Fashionary already. If you watch my channel, you are familiar with this because they're so nice. They're Fashionpedia, literally just jam-packed with so much information about fashion, fashion design. They're Fashionary Essentials box set. The tape measure that I use is from here because it's really sleek and nice. I'll show you what else is inside. They give a nice set of pencils. There's this paper panel that has, again, more dotted line outfits for top and bottom. So all you need to add to it is drawings for your items. They got that beautiful fashion tape that I mentioned, and then a smaller notebook, much more travel friendly. I featured them last year for a holiday gift guide because I love it so much. And this year I have another coupon code. So if you use Withwendy10, you'll get 10% off. As always, links for all of that stuff is in the description. I will also go ahead and link every tutorial that I've ever done with faux fur. Why not? Yeah, and I guess that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. This video is made possible by my amazing, amazing Patreon supporters. If you would like to support me on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/withwendy.